What's up, everybody? Welcome to Good Food Mood Mondays. It's your girl, Vakanya. Thank you for sticking through with me, y'all. Thank you for always watching my YouTube tutorial on how I cook. So before we get started on anything, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you have not already done so. If it's your first time here, welcome. I can't wait to show you guys what we're cooking today, and really for you guys to get to know me a little bit more. So if you've been with me, thank you for sticking through. If it's your first time, welcome. Hit that subscribe button, don't forget. So yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. First, we got some ingredients for you guys today. I'm not gonna tell y'all what I'm making just yet. I kind of just want to like go through my ingredients, and then I want to see if you guys can kind of guess what I'm making tonight. All right, so we got some russet potatoes. They're kind of like the smaller size ones. We're gonna wash these in a little bit, and I'll tell you guys what I'm doing with that. As for our seasoning, I mentioned last time that I was gonna get you guys like the measuring thing. I nigga did it. I'm just kidding. Kids, if you listen to this, you should not be cursing, but do as I don't do. I don't know how to say that thing. Don't do as I don't know, whatever. You get what I'm saying. But anyways, I did get you guys the teaspoon so that way I can measure exactly what it is that I'm doing. Again, I do go with my gut, so if I kind of like just, you know, sprinkle a little pizzazz in there, just kind of know why. But anyways, we got some adobo, we got some parsley flakes, some oregano, garlic salt, and paprika. Over here we got some white distilled vinegar. We have about 3 garlic cloves that we're gonna go ahead and chop, or diced up, I guess. Well, not really diced, but chopped up. We have some black peppers, and then why did I say black peppers? Like y'all, it's been a long day. But anyways, we got some salt, and then sazon, the colored one, the one with the yellow kind of like packaging right there. So we're moving on. We have some plantains, bell peppers. I bought this bread at Walmart. You can get any type of like bread, whether you like Italian, wheat, it's up to you. Either one can work for this recipe that we're doing today. And then over here we got some hot sauce, sriracha mayo sauce, and then yellow mustard. We also have some mayo. It says creamy miracle whip or whatever, but it's mayo, y'all. And then we got some garlic spread. Honestly, you guys, I got this to save time. So you could make your own garlic spread from scratch, but we ain't got time for that today. I mean, you know what I mean. It's been a long day, like I said. So we have some sour cream that we're gonna use. I don't know if I mentioned what this was. Y'all, if you've been watching me, you know what this is. This is our ippies. It's homemade. Make sure you check out the video on how I made my ippies, because that shit is bomb. It goes on everything, like literally everything. So we're gonna move on over here. This is our, I guess you could say, like our meat department. So, well, whatever, you know what I mean. So we have right here our shrimp. This shrimp had already been cleaned. So what I did was I put some lemon juice as well as salt, and then I rinsed it off. So it's been already rinsed off. And then you have your bacon. I haven't done anything to the bacon. We're gonna kind of like walk through the process together. All right, y'all, so we're gonna go ahead and get started by first washing our hands. Please make sure that you are definitely washing your hands as many times as possible as you're cooking, not only because of COVID, obviously because of just being sanitary, really. I think there was like a song that you do. Was it a happy birthday? I mean, it ain't nobody's birthday, so we ain't gonna sing nothing. But I think that is the song that you do. Anyways, you wash your hands pretty nice, so that way you're not contaminating anything and you're not transferring any germs. But once we're done, you can go ahead and dry your hand off if you really want to. I do have some gloves here for anybody that likes to use gloves. Again, another sanitary thing to do. But me personally, I don't really like to use gloves because I like to, you know, like I told y'all, like I like to feel the texture. So first things first, we're gonna go ahead. I have the bacon already laid out. I'm actually only doing like about 7. I'm only gonna use 6 for what I'm about to do. As you can see, I didn't introduce the menu, but I hope you guys saw it. Do not make fun of my handwriting because I work hard for this, okay? You don't know, okay, the struggle was real. But anyways, we're gonna use about 7 pieces of bacon today. 6 of them I'm gonna use for the actual potatoes to wrap it around. About 1 of them I'm gonna leave it out so that way I can kind of sprinkle on the deviled eggs. I didn't put that here, but kind of came through my mind real quick. So let's start with seasoning our shrimp. You guys, I did mention that I went ahead and I put some lemon juice on here already earlier and I washed it. Sorry, do not use hot water. Don't use hot water on a shrimp because what happens is it kind of cooks it because the shrimp meat is so soft. So always use cold water. I'm just rinsing it off again, but like I mentioned before, put some lemon juice on here with salt and then cool water. Definitely make sure that you are cleaning the insides of the shrimp. Just to make sure, like, you know, there isn't any of that excess. I don't know what they're called. Y'all tell me what it's called in the comments because I don't know. Is it whatever? I don't want to say the word because it's kind of, we don't want to think about that. So we're going to start with this. I'm going to pour up, just cut the lime in half. Y'all, I can't speak today. And then pour just a little bit. You don't have to drain the whole thing because we don't want it to be overly sour. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna come here and go ahead and start our seasoning process. So first things first, gonna take one of the Sazon. Again, clumsy me. We're gonna go ahead and use, you'll see the difference. The one that has the yellow barcoding coloring thing up here, that's the one that you're gonna get. Don't get too political and start talking about how Goya company, you know, sponsored Donald Trump, da-da-da-da-da. We're just gonna, you know, just cook today. So please, I don't wanna hear it. I mean, I ain't no Trump fan, but this is good food mood Monday, okay? So it's all about the good mood. I mean, good food and the good mood. But anyways, you don't have to use all of it, you guys. Like, just honestly, just half, like just a little sprinkle, a little dazzle, because we're gonna use other seasonings, so we don't need to use all of it. So we put that back, and then I want to go ahead and, oh, look at me listening to my ancestors. I was about to use my hands again, but we're not gonna use our hands. We're gonna go ahead and actually measure. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take half a teaspoon of black pepper and go ahead and sprinkle it on here. If you're like me and you really want to listen to your ancestors tell you how to do this, please feel free to. But if you just are not sure, you haven't really connected with your ancestors, please go ahead and use this. So I have some garlic salt. This is one of those situations that we're going to listen to our ancestors. So we're just going to sprinkle just a little dazzle. I don't know what that man's name from that has that restaurant in New York. Like, he'd be like, I don't even know how to do it. Like, oh shit. It's all right. We're gonna fix that. So because this is garlic salt, and because it sprinkled a little bit much, we're not gonna put the salt in here, okay? So we don't need to put no more salt. What we're gonna do next though is take a little bit of oregano, and it's not open. Same thing with the oregano. Don't try to be fancy with it like I was trying to earlier. So really just like sprinkle a little dazzle on here. And then once we're done with that, we're gonna take a little bit of parsley. The reason why I'm putting the parsley on it now as opposed to when it's cooking, because I think the smell of it, I'm sorry, not as opposed to when it's cooking, as opposed to when it's done. I think the smell of it is so rich And the reason why I use the parsley flakes, honestly guys, is really because I like it when the shrimp is cooking. Not only does it give it like this nice smell, but it's just the flavoring of the parsley infusing into the actual shrimp. So I'm gonna use my hand once again. You're welcome to use the glove like I mentioned, but y'all saw me wash my hands, so you're just gonna go ahead and mash this all together. So again, you got the lemon juice in here, you got some black peppers, parsley. I did not put any additional salt because you have the garlic salt in here, and then some oregano. So you just, oh yes, this is sazon. So you just kind of like mix it all together. Go ahead and taste it. Perfect. It's like, it doesn't need anything else. So we're gonna go ahead and leave this as is. I'm not gonna put any like hot sauce or hot pepper on here because I'm trying to be more mindful of how much spicy stuff I use. So we're gonna leave this over here and move on to our next step. So first things first, we're gonna go ahead and start cooking our potatoes because the potatoes might take a little bit longer. People have done this differently, but I'm gonna show you guys how I'm doing it, only because I really wanna make sure that my potatoes are seasoned and not just like bland with the bacon wrapped around it. So make sure you thoroughly wash the potatoes with cold water. And then once you've done that, we're gonna come over here, and what I have already done is I have this pot already preheated with oil in it. So again, so what we're gonna do is just saute this just so that way it could get a little bit like cooked. So when it's under here, one, it cooks faster, and then two, it's actually cooked on the inside. So I'm not cutting them, I'm not peeling them, nothing like that. All I did was just drop them in here. Now, before you put the lid back on, what we're gonna do is put a little bit of the adobo. This is the all-purpose seasoning. You can go ahead and sprinkle a little bit on here. 1, 2, 3, and then that's good. We don't want to put too much seasoning because again, we're gonna wrap it in bacon, and you know the bacon is already salted as it is. So we're gonna take a pinch. This pinch might be like half a teaspoon if you want to have a literal picture of the number. So just, again, nothing too much, not too much seasoning because it's gonna be wrapped around the bacon. The reason why I did this is because, one, what I'm hoping is when you bite into this, you're getting some type of texture, some type of flavor. The last thing I'm gonna do is take some lemon, the same slice of lemon that I used earlier, you guys, for the shrimp. Remember, I didn't use all the juice, so I'm gonna go ahead and use just a little bit. Or just squeeze the remaining, I should say. So we're gonna go ahead and rinse off our spoon and come back over here. And as you're doing this, I had it on low because I didn't want it to burn because you know it was preheating. So you can put it on high so that way it can kind of cook a little bit faster. But all we're doing right now is just kind of like turning it to see if we can get all sides of the potatoes to have some type of seasoning. So we're gonna go ahead and cover this and come back to it. I wanna say I'm leaving this to simmer for about 10 minutes. So while this is cooking, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and start cutting our veggies. I'm gonna wash these veggies, but I normally like to wait until after I've cut all of my veggies and then wash them because, I don't know, there's really no reason. It's just how I do it. So cut these, and then we're gonna take the bell peppers. I didn't use green bell peppers because I just didn't feel like it. But you can, if you wanna, I just want it to be a little bit colorful with this. So once we're done cutting all of this, we're gonna go ahead and start washing them. All right, y'all, so we're just about done cutting our veggies. You can kind of cut these into cubes if you want to, as long as they're small, because remember, we're using this as a topping on top of our garlic toasty bread. So Obviously, make sure that you are washing. Sorry, I have some that are a little bit too long than others. Some of y'all probably like, girl, it doesn't matter, but it does though. So we're gonna go ahead and come over here. Again, we're using warm water. I'm sorry, not warm water, cold water. And go ahead and wash this out. And now we're gonna come over here, put this to the side, but we have our pot already kind of preheated. We're gonna take some, actually, we're gonna take some butter. I was going to use oil. It's always better to use butter as a substitute. So first things first, wash your utensils. Make sure you are definitely doing that. Gonna take a little bit of butter, just a little scoop, not even a whole scoop, but just enough so that way you can get some oil in there. Less oil is better. So I know I normally like to be excessive with everything, but we're gonna be mindful nowadays. So anyways, you get these, the butter melted a little bit, and then we're gonna take our seasoned shrimp. Y'all, make sure you watch the video on how I season my meat, how I season my shrimp. I'm gonna do a different video on it, so make sure you check it out. So that means that you definitely have to subscribe and hit that little notification button, so that way you can always check in to see what is cooking, B. With that being said, so we're gonna leave this here for about 15 minutes or so because we really want the shrimp to be cooked. And then while this is cooking, we're gonna go ahead and kind of take a peek in this. You can use the same utensil, honestly. It doesn't really matter, but if you're like those people that like, oh my gosh, contamination. I mean, I guess you can wash it and just, you know, do that. But it's been already cooking for about 10 minutes. So we're gonna go ahead and turn this baby off. And then for the one in the back, again, you can have it at low because you don't want it to cook too fast so that way it doesn't burn and get dry. So you want it to kind of like simmer there. So every now and then we're gonna check this and make sure it's well. But in the meantime, while this is going, the next thing we're gonna come and do is cut our bread. So in order to do this, honestly, just kind of like get yourself a cutting board. Make sure it's nice and clean. Take your bread, and I'm gonna cut this diagonally because it looks nicer. I mean, the bread is kind of already in that direction anyways. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off. You can use this if you want. I think I'm gonna use it actually. Ain't no reason to leave you all alone. So, you guys, just remember that these are appetizer food. So it really depends on like if you're having a football party or if you're having like an elegant party. Honestly, you can do either or because I mean, it's just like one of those finger foods that looks elegant, but not only looks elegant, it's like easy to grab and go. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I'm gonna move on to the next. I think this is fairly good for right now. I mean, you ever try to like do like a little bit and be like, I'm just gonna save this for later? We're not gonna save it for later. We'll just go ahead and use it while we're at it. So there we go. Ooh. It might be a little hard because this is probably not the best thing to use. But anyways, so we have that here. And then next up is, this is a little hot already. But what we're gonna do is, I bought this garlic spread at Walmart. It's called Italian Rose garlic spread. It's gluten-free. Make sure you put it back in the refrigerator after you use it. I'm using this instead of making my own garlic bread because again, I kind of wanted to show you guys how to make something quick and easy for like, you know, just a quick get together. This doesn't have to be like a party, but you know, like a quick get together with your friends and you kind of want to be fancy and elegant, and you could definitely do that. Oops. All right. Good enough. So what I'm going to do now is take the garlic spread and go ahead and put it on top of your bread. I'm going to do both sides because I want it to have flavor as soon as you bite into it, really. I'm not putting anything else, just the garlic spread, and put this baby in, and then we're gonna go ahead and put that baby into the oven. Front and back, we're gonna come over here. I have the oven preheated to 400. I mean, I know it's standard that we do like the whole 350, but 400 is pretty good. I'll get it nice and toasted. While that's cooking, you guys, I did want to go ahead and check on my bacon. I forgot to mention that I have the bacon already cooking, and I had set that one on 450. So it's almost done. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is just stop it because I don't want it to be too crispy. So we're gonna go ahead and stop that. So you guys, it is hot topic time. I didn't mention that I was gonna do this. I don't know if I did or not. But for Good Food Mood Mondays, we're definitely gonna start introducing hot topic. For the hot topic for today, it's actually a scenario, and it's been actually going around on social media, kind of like a big, topic, a big discussion. So basically the scenario is, if you or this girlfriend, was going out with her boyfriend or whatever, and basically her friend, the girlfriend invited one of her girlfriends. So basically, like if it was like me inviting my girlfriend to come out to eat with me and my man, right? So basically what the scenario is, the girlfriend or my girlfriend, something happened to her card. So like her card declined, and now, like she's looking kind of like, okay, well, what do we do? And the question is, she's looking around, and is it wrong for the girlfriend to expect her boyfriend to pay for the friend, even though he didn't invite her? Or should it be like, okay, well, it shouldn't be a big deal. The guy should, take the tab and pay. So basically, I want you guys to go ahead and drop your comments in the section. Again, the scenario is you bring your girlfriend along to a dinner. You invite your girlfriend, and she comes after the meal is over. Her card's declined. She's looking around like, well, how am I going to pay for this? Should your boyfriend pay for her meal? Or should he be like, why should I pay for her meal? You invited her. That's your chick, So let me know what you think. Go ahead and drop it down in the comment section. I can't wait to hear what you guys' thoughts are. I think that's a legit scenario, y'all. So throw it at me. So next up, we're gonna go ahead and start cutting our plantains. I already got a head start. So again, I know there are different cultures and different people cook their plantains different. I'm using green plantains. These ones are not like too ripe. They're like perfect, where it's easy to peel. But basically you peel the coating off of that, and then I'm cutting it kind of slanted because it just looks nicer, honestly, when you're pressing it. And this is what we're gonna use to press it. Now, this is the Haitian way of doing it. I don't, I'll make it another way one of these days, but this is how we do it. In here, I just have some salt and then warm or lukewarm water. So we'll leave this to soak for a little bit, and then I'm gonna go ahead and wash our hands. Actually, make sure you clean up after yourself, you guys. I'm gonna wash my hand and come over here so that way I can start checking on my shrimp. So remember, we've already washed these. We're not gonna go ahead and use the diced green onions. We're only gonna use the bell peppers and then the onions on here. So just spread it through. I have this on low because, again, remember I mentioned that I wanted it to simmer. I didn't want it to cook too quickly because I want the flavor to have a chance to kind of like get all up in there. I know there's a little bit of green onions, but it's okay. So you have a nice kind of colorful orange, some red up in there. Again, I didn't feel like putting the green, so I kind of like this color. We're gonna come back to that. Y'all, I definitely wanted to make sure that I talk a little bit about my potatoes. So we're improvising a little bit. I did want to go ahead and kind of leave this for another 10 minutes to actually cook a little bit more. so that way it doesn't take too long once it's in the oven. There's different ways of doing this, y'all, but this is how I normally do it. So while this is going, another 10 minutes, you got your shrimp kind of simmering down over there. We're gonna put it like right in the middle, nothing too much. And then I didn't get a chance to introduce the eggs. We're making deviled eggs, obviously, you saw that. So this has been cooking, or it was already boiled for about 5 minutes or so. And then I had it cooled in cool water for about 3 minutes. You could have done 10 minutes, but I didn't want them to be too hard. I mean, hard enough for me to scrape it off, but yeah. So we're gonna crack these babies up and get started on our next step. So we're gonna continue to cut our boiled eggs and take out the yolk, and then you're gonna go ahead and put the remains over here. So to our actual insides of the deviled eggs, I guess. I'm not making a lot, you guys, so this is why it's such a small amount. I only did 6 eggs. If you're having a large party, obviously go ahead and do more, but this occasion, I just want to show you guys how to kind of like have an idea of how it goes. So we're gonna take some mayo. If you have a knife or something, just like honestly just the tip of the scoop, maybe like a couple times, that's good enough. I am going to use the sriracha mayo sauce on here. So the thing about cooking is you can really get creative with it, right? Like it's just trying different ideas and seeing what works. So honestly, if you don't make your deviled eggs like that, oh my goodness gracious, you guys, this is what happened when you bite your nails. But I got it. So anyways, like you can actually, you know, improvise and see how you kind of want to play with it. So that being said, I like to, you know, use different kind of flavors on here, spread a little bit. As you can see, nothing too crazy. I have some black pepper. I will use the teaspoon so that way you guys can kind of really visualize this. Half a teaspoon of black pepper is more than enough. Just that, sprinkle it on here and then put that back. Next up, you got some yellow mustard. I know a lot of people put mustard on a lot of their things. So if you don't like mustard, don't put it, it's fine. But just a little bit of mustard on here. I'm going to use the remaining of the sazon that we used earlier for the shrimp. Not a lot. Actually, we're gonna go ahead and measure it because I really want you guys to kind of like have an idea. So your food don't come out too salty or doesn't have enough. But pretty much half a teaspoon again is fine. So you put that on here. And then half a teaspoon also, go ahead and rinse this out. This is the white distilled vinegar, half a teaspoon of that. Put that baby in there. And lastly, sorry you guys, I am gonna put a little bit of hot sauce in there. Again, if you're not like, you know, into spicy stuff, you don't have to. Just a dab, like literally a dab of hot sauce because you don't really need a lot. So now you're gonna go ahead and mush them all together. You can see how it's coming along. It has some nice color to it. You can see the black peppers on there. Kind of love that rosy color that it actually has. I feel like this is gonna look so nice with the paprika on top of it. So awesome. So let's go ahead and kind of start pushing these to the side. We don't need these anymore. Well, at least for not right now. And then move on to our next step. Actually, let's just go ahead and wash our hands right before we start touching the deviled eggs. So start putting these in here, and then honestly the rest is over. Like the rest is really over from this point on. All you need is a little bit of garnish on here, a little bit of color, and then you're done. Some people's deviled eggs look yellow. Mine obviously look the way that it looks because of the sriracha and the hot sauce that I put. You don't have to put any of those. Again, I'm extra, so everything I do is kind of extra. All right, so here you go. Here's the finished product, or should I say, et voila. So we have our wrapped bacon potatoes. This has been placed in the oven for about, I want to say, I put it in there for 20 minutes so that way it can kind of finish cooking the bacon. This is a homemade sauce that I made. What I used in this was the sriracha sauce. I used sour cream. I used a little bit of the sazon, and then I also put a little bit of hot sauce in here. So it's really yummy. And then we have our fried plantains. It's nice and hot. And then I have the sauteed shrimp on top of that, just for a little pizzazz. Next, we have our garlic bread. So the garlic bread and the sauteed shrimp is already on here, still nice and hot. So you guys can make this on any occasions if you're having like I said, a get together or anything, but it's a nice little gourmet appetizer. Let's dig in, y'all. And as I'm gonna go ahead, you see how it just kind of went through, so you know that the potatoes is cooked fully. But going back to our, oh, look at that, it's nicely cooked. So if your potato is hard while you're cutting it, you didn't do this right. Oh my god, it's so yummy, you guys. And the bacon, you see how soft it is. Anyways, if you were commenting and giving me your feedback on the scenario, I'll go ahead and tell you guys my feedback. So this is what I think. I personally feel like I'm a little bit old-fashioned, right? I personally feel like the guy should pay. All right, and here's why I say that, because as a man, right, you always want your wife to, you know, look good or whatever the case may be. And, you know, it's just like chivalry, you know, like it's the gentleman thing to do. Like, all right, baby, her card declined, whatever. Cool. I got it. No problem. However, I don't think it should stop here. I do think that the girlfriend, the girlfriend. So in this case, it would have been me if my boyfriend paid for it. I do believe that the girlfriend should have a conversation with her friend and be like, listen, you know, I know your card declined or whatever, but I just wanted to make sure that, you know, like if you're able to run that money back, because honestly, you have to start being strategic and like thinking about everything on a business perspective. So what I would say is like, you know, like, hey girl, no problem. I get it. Your card declined or whatever, but you know, we're kind of, you know, on a budget right now and we didn't plan for you. So let me know when you can run that back, you know, pretty much. That's my thoughts on it. I don't know what you guys feel, but while you guys are still commenting, we're going to go ahead and try this baby out. So the texture of this, you have the fried plantains, and how I made this is, you know, obviously you squeeze it, you have it in the salt water, you fry it one time, take it out about 5 minutes later, squeeze it, and then put it back in the salt water and then fry it again. So you guys should have already seen a video of me doing this. You don't have to get all fancy with it. You don't have to use a knife or anything, but that's that. Super yummy. I forgot to mention, you guys, this is actually the sauce, the dipping sauce is actually for the wrapped bacon potato. So you can just dip that baby in here. Is it weird when people are talking while they're eating? But this is a cooking show. I guess we can do that. Anyways, so yeah, thank you so much for joining so far, you guys. Like I said, quick and easy. Took me about, I want to say 2 hours, but you can actually do this in less than if you have somebody helping you with setting it up and everything. I just wanted to see how it's gonna taste with the sriracha sauce, or I have to come up with a name for that, but it tastes so good, you guys. I did decide to do beer today because normally I know I always have, like, you know, my wine and everything like that, but since we're in the party festivities, Unless we're gonna do, you know, beer and keep it casual. Anyways, I hope you guys are having a wonderful Monday so far. I hope everything's been good. Last but not least, we're gonna go ahead and try this. And on that note, y'all, thank you so much for sticking through. Got some party balloons. Perfect. This is what happens. That was crazy. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me on my 3rd episode of What's Cooking Bee. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry, I'm talking with my mouth full, but this shit right here is thebomb.com. Let me know what you thought. Once again, if you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. And on that note, this has been another episode of What's Cooking Bee.